Getting new comic books is great, but finding a brand new comic book store to buy from is even better. All right, I have an unboxing video for you today, and this is from a store I've never purchased from. I found out about this online store, Dark Dominion Comics, through the Comics Heating Up community, and I am such a creature of habit. I will often buy the same books. I buy from the same sellers, and a lot of that, again, is me building up my experience and trust, my expectations with my sources for books. And it's difficult sometimes to kind of take a risk and start a new sort of relationship between a customer such as myself and a seller. A lot goes into kind of the decision making process as far as when you're going to buy from a new source. And again, there's some trust involved. You want to make sure that that guy sitting behind the table at the convention is somebody that you can walk away from with those your new prized possessions that you hopefully paid cash for, and you're walking out of the convention, and what happens when you get home and there's mold in the book or torn pages, right? There's a lot of risk involved when you're working and you're dealing with somebody new. So at some point, though, you have to kind of take that leap of faith. And this particular store had a lot of good feedback, and it looked to be set up on that sort of standard Shopify platform. One of the reasons I decided to take a chance here and just kind of see what the shipment process is like, how they pack books, and then the overall quality and grade of the books. One of the reasons I wanted to figure that out was because they had a few categories on their website that really, really spoke to me. And I'm a big believer in organization, how you store your books, how you catalog them. And to me, that's part of the fun of the hobby, is staying on top of all of that and staying organized. And they had a few quick searches, if you will, where links to incentives, links to books that they had designated as comics that had recently increased in value or in demand, that they were still selling for cover price. So it was almost like, hey, over here, we've got some comics that maybe some of our competition is selling for double, triple, quadruple cover. And we recognize the fact that these books are, that they've increased in value, but we're still delivering them to you at cover price. Obviously, until they sell out, but I went and checked them out, and I was able to kind of find the books pretty easily. I was using those lists and put together a nice order of books, and I want to go ahead and walk you through the unboxing, and then we'll go over the order details to show you what I spent and kind of what my cost was to get these books in my possession, and then compare them to today's market values to see if the order was good value or not. So first things first, let's get these comics out of the box. Okay, here we go. This is the unboxing of my first order from Dark Dominion Comics. They're located in Virginia. What was great about this is I placed this order, this was placed on March 9th, and it arrived March 12th. So really, really fast, quick turnaround, sent USPS priority. So let's go ahead and get this box of comics opened up. Got a little bit of bubble wrap here. And look at this. Look at what's inside here. Wow. Holy smokes. All kinds of these little, and I saved these too. These are great for when you're sending in your shipments to CGC. So really, really awesome. I'm gonna swipe all of that bubble wrap, get it all out of the box. So that was all like filler that was in there to make sure that that this box was in there securely. So let's take a look at this. Now I've talked about this with things like Boxed Heroes and Scout Comics. Look at this branded Dark Dominion black box. That's awesome. Very cool. Love that. So it's branded, yeah, but this is like the best box to send comics in. So let's open this up and see what's inside. All right, got a packing slip and Dark Dominion sticker. So I love that, and it just tells me that they're into what they do. They take pride in it, and again, how you do anything is how you do everything. So that is awesome. Appreciate the fact that from the shipment perspective, that was top notch. All right, so let's open up this bag. And looks like we've even got the blue painter's tape on the back of the comics. I'm trying to be careful here. The only thing, some of the books are getting caught on the bag. Trying not to be too aggressive there, getting them out of the bag. Okay, I think that was my fault. All right, let's see what's in this order. Yeah, so this is really cool. The painter's tape, real easy to open up and take off. So I'm going to rip through the books pretty quickly, and then I'm going to go ahead and grade some of them, just kind of see in general what grades we're getting here on these books. So some of these were from that list as far as books that they were still selling at cover price, but had heated up in the secondary market. This is one of those books, Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, #3. And this was basically a mishap on Marvel's part. The new Punisher emblem or logo first appeared here, I guess, instead of in Punisher #1, or I mean, it also appeared in Timeless #1, but for some reason, this was the book that jumped because of a publishing and a timing of the book sort of situation. So this book took off really quickly. I did get, I think, one other copy from Midtown, and I got one from Dark Dominion. And what I like about it is Dark Dominion, they'll just do a limit one per customer. I love that. I'm not going to sit there and buy 30 copies and buy them out. I just want one copy. And I was able to get it through them. This is another one I keep buying, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 125. This is the cover B. This is Eastman. This is his cover, and I'm buying this for the Punk Frogs appearance. And I got cover A as well. So this is a book that I keep trying to grab, and now I have cover A and B. Darth Vader #20. This is the second print with the silver Beskar border. I don't know yet if the second print was more heavily ordered or about the same, but from an aesthetics perspective, the silver Beskar border I think is the preferred border, but the gold border on the first print is certainly fine, matching the Lucasfilm 50th anniversary logo, but in any case, love that. Iron Fist #1, the new Iron Fist, first appearance of the new Iron Fist. And I'm grabbing these as well, as many as I can, because I do believe that this is going to be the character that Marvel goes with going forward, and wanted to get sort of his first solo series. You could argue his first solo series is actually Swordmaster #1, so I'm getting that as well, just to kind of cover my bases. Hulk #3, this is the David Nakayama homage cover. I love this cover, love Nakayama. Trying to pick up the early Donny Cates Hulk books, just in case some of those characters take off. This is one that I think was relatively easy to find after people were buying up cover A. But I love this cover. The older nostalgic feel, the logo, the way it is, and Nakayama, you can't go wrong. And why not? Let's grab cover A while we're there. So there you go. Spider-Man 89. This is the Patrick Gleason variant. And Gleason does a great job. He's actually writing, or he is writing sort of the tail end of this volume of Amazing Spider-Man before it returns to a number one. And Gleason's just been killing it on his covers. And if you're going in on the Goblin Queen, this is one of her better covers, I think, by Patrick Gleason. And if you're all in, you'll get issue 88, her first appearance. I didn't pre-order this and kind of FOMO'd a little, and I bought 3 copies from Midtown, I think for, let's see, cover price is $3.99, and it was like $6 or $8 each of those, and Dark Dominion had it at cover price. So thank you, Dark Dominion, for keeping those prices at cover. And then the last 3 books, these are incentives, so I found these on their ratio incentives list. So they do the filtering for you. You just click on that list, and it shows you all of the incentives that they're currently selling at. And what I love too is if it's sold out, it's right there in the results shown as sold out. A lot of the stores, you have to click into the item, and then it tells you it's sold out, and from the search results, it looks like it's available, and it's super annoying. And it's just a setting in Shopify, and I don't know which way is the default, but I wish every store would not do that. They make it look like they have this huge inventory, and then you click into the item, and then you see it's sold out. You get frustrated really quickly. With Dark Dominion Comics, if you search for something, or if you're going into the list, you see the search results, you see the books, and it'll have a little label, sold out. And if it doesn't have the label, then it's in stock. Okay, been holding this book long enough. We Live Age of Palladians, number 1. I got both incentives. These, I believe they're both 1 in 15s. But I love We Live, the first series. This is sort of the second series. And I'm sure now this is going to be more heavily ordered than the original We Live series. But I don't care. I liked it, and I wanted to grab the loose issues of the new Miranda Brothers series. Then the last book was another incentive, Electric Black number 1. These Scout Comics books, sometimes they heat up, sometimes they kind of disappear or kind of fall off the radar. Electric Black number 1 picked up a little heat about a year or so ago, just for a little while. And you know, issue 1 cover A was selling for like 10 or 15 bucks. This is the 1 in 10 incentive variant, and they had it for right at ratio at 10 bucks. And so I wanted to grab this. I missed out on cover A. I still don't have it, but I'm happy to get the 1 in 10 variant. So all the bags and boards from Dark Dominion, they're all consistent, which I love. So if you kind of hold all these up together, they're the same. So you don't get the kind of half and half, or, you know, books inside and out without boards and all of these inconsistency. I love that they're all the same. And these are probably bags and boards that I will keep. I won't have to necessarily rebag them. So let's open some of these up and take a look at the condition. Again, thank you very much for the painter's tape on the back. Makes it really, really easy to open up. And I want to start looking at the condition so that I can enter Dark Dominion Comics into the ledger. So let's go ahead and grade this book out. Scout Comics, when I was subscribing to them, was probably the highest rated in terms of quality. They were almost averaging a 9.8. So I'm hoping that this carries through when I get them through on the secondary market. I am concerned a little bit about that corner there. It's just got a little bit of, just a slight ding right there on the corner. I still think that's acceptable depending on if it got through on the back or not, and it looks like it did not. So I think we're in good shape for this to be a 9.8. No other real issues on the back that I can see. A couple of little dots or spots, but right in there is something. You never know when like CGC is going to ding you for something like that. I'm going to leave it as a 9.8. I think it's really sharp. All of these corners look really, really great. So Yep. This will be a 9/8 for me. And what's going to save me a ton of time is I can simply reuse the bag and the board that they sent it in, and I don't have to rebag all of these. So that is huge for me because I spend a lot of time and a lot of money replacing all of the books with the same bag and board. And these are great. These look to be really, really solid. All right, let's open up this one. And this is a cardstock, so you can almost tell right away it's either going to be a 9/8 or somewhere between a 9 and a 9/4 because they're usually all split or there's a giant crease. That's right, borderline acceptable on that corner there. I think we're okay. Same with up here. I think that's still all right. It's just the tiniest of little nicks right on that corner, but really not too bad. Yeah, I think this is another 9/8. Yeah, I think it's fine. Everything else, again, it's within that sort of what I would call acceptable range. It's just, and what I mean by that is it's borderline, right? So it's borderline 9/6, but still acceptable. You'll see a little bit of white on the camera there, but I think we're okay. I think we're okay. This one's close, but yeah, there's nothing on the pages. Back cover looks super clean. No scratches. Sometimes you get some scratches on the cardstock, or you get that little faint scratch all the way up and down. So another 9.8 there. You know, and just to be fair to Dark Dominion Comics and all comic book stores, there's usually a disclaimer somewhere, and the disclaimer is pretty much the same, that there's no guarantee of condition. They'll just guarantee a range, right? That's what all the retailers do, and you kind of have to understand that. And I say most will guarantee like a 9.2, and then everything above that, it's sort of bonus, and it's the way they protect themselves from, damages, or not damages. They protect themselves from just little tiny flaws that would move a book into a 9.4, 9.6. They're not totally responsible. And this is one of those books. So this has just basically some surface junk, like right in here, and that's not art. It's whatever it is, right? And that's hard for a retailer to pick up on, but unfortunately CGC is going to see this. So again, there's more junk in here. So there's something on the surface here, just general dirt. It's all over the place. In here. So I'll probably have to give this a 9.4 just to be safe. I don't know if I would clean this book. It's almost like there's little subtle dimpling or dimples being put in here as well. They're hard to pick up. There was one right there. There's just all these little marks all over the front cover. It would just appear dirty. There's also just a slight little, let's get this right in the light. Yeah, right there. So right in there, there's like a little bit of a push on the cardstock. So that one I'll go ahead and give a 9.4 on that one. Okay, so I would say let's get into more of the typical Marvel. They're ultra thin paper covers here. So this is ASM 88. You can almost just tell as soon as you get it, it's going to be a 9.8. This is certainly a 9.8 candidate. So the spine looks really good. There's nothing there. Corner looks like great right off the press. The back has, again, you have to understand the difference between wear and tear and then manufacturing related issues. So this is common, this sort of like, you could say like, oh my gosh, it's littered with spine ticks, but it's actually a manufacturing flaw with a lot of these where, I don't know, I see this a lot and it does not detract from the grade. Now, these dents from the staple, that I don't know. So I don't know, and I think it's because, no, the staple's fine. It may just be a high staple. Let's open it up here. Yeah, this one in particular has a staple that's really kind of, it's high up on the page. So you could see there, the positioning of that staple, and then that's where that is kind of pushing through. So that's unfortunate. If I really wanted to be extra, I would go ahead and press this and get rid of that. So I'm going to give this one a 9.6. It's very, very close to a 9.8, but unfortunately, you don't know, and I'll mark this as a pressing candidate. You don't know if somebody at CGC is going to see that and go, they tried to press it and they screwed up, so we're going to give it an 8.5. Obviously, it's not the case, but that little dent from the staple is unfortunate. That's just the way it is. And that was just probably the way they came, the way that they arrived in the distribution box. All right, how about Spider-Man 89? So same thing, at first glance, looks very clean, looks like a 9.8. Just the general waviness from that Marvel paper. I mean, like the 9.8s you can grade the fastest. This corner has a little bit of splitting on it, so that's borderline now for a 9.8. And then a little bit of a corner crunch there, but very, very slight. Yeah, in the UPC box it's hard to see, but and this spine looks better than ASM 88. That looks really, really nice and clean. So the only thing I'm seeing on this one is just the corner splitting at the top. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Again, if I'm not exactly sure, I feel like it's a 9.7, which obviously isn't a real grade. And then I'm looking for anything else subtle that would push it to a no-brainer 9.6, and I'm not seeing it. There is a little bit of a dent in here, right there. I'm going to give this a 9.6, and I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to indicate that it's pressable. And I do that when I'm in between grades, or I don't know, gosh, would I get away with a 9.8? When I start to think like that, I just go with the lesser of the two grades. Then I can sleep at night. Hulk 3. Let's see here. Oh, this looks super sharp. Yeah. So nothing there that I can see in the spine. Really, really great up and down. So from the front cover is a 9.8 all day. Back cover, this one typically has the color rub because of the M&M's ad, but looks really sharp. It looks nice. So my other copies are already dirty on the back because of the color rub. The color rub is there. It's not going to show on camera. It's very, very faint, but I think that would be chalked up to normal, like that sort of color rubbing, or just production inking and just kind of falling over the place. I think those are the types of things that it's allowed that keeps it from being a 10 or a 9.9. So that's perfectly acceptable. So that was a really quick grade because you could just tell right away there's nothing to look at. It just looks pristine, looks great. So that gets a 9.8. How about the variant of Hulk 3? And this with the green is gonna pick up damages much easier than the other books. Now, the first thing I saw is right in here, right there. So there's a little bit of like a page twist right there in the fibers. I don't think that's a tear. Yeah, but it's right in there. Yeah, right there. Bottom corner has a little bit of whitening. Again, very, very minor. Same with the top. It's almost like the part of the page is coming off, and it's not splitting. So that's cool. And again, we've got the M&M's cover, so same thing. I don't really see a lot of color rub here, so borderline, again, very, very close to a 9.8. But unfortunately, that's an eyesore for me, so I'm going to put it as a 9.6. But a very, very strong copy. And I didn't indicate that could be pressed because I call them page twists. I don't know what they are specifically, or paper twists, not page. I don't know, either way. But they're just like these, you see them, they look like these little wound up paper fibers that are completely flat and just part of the page. And I don't mess with those. They like I said, they almost, or like I showed, they almost look like a tear. But they're kind of, and sometimes they're in different places on a book. Okay, Let's go with Iron Fist number 1. How's this one look? Looks beautiful. I don't see any problem at all. Nothing. Like, this is what a 9/8 looks like. So it's like, man, why be so ultra critical on some of those books? Because this is what a 9/8 looks like. So this is a 9/8, unless there's something on the back. And there's nothing. Just gorgeous. A little spine tick right there. But that's not enough to keep it from being a 9/8. Gorgeous. Believe me, I have my share of 9.8 slabs that have more damage than some of these books that have 9.6s. But I shake my head because they're not 9/8s, they're 9.6s. Which is kind of, it's tough. Again, that's part of the ongoing grading debate is, are the graders accurate? Are they consistent? Do they know what they're doing? I don't take a chance. I try to only send in what I think are 9/8s. I'm sure I have a whole, I probably have hundreds of 9.6s that are 9/8s, but I guess I'll never know. Darth Vader 20, this is the second print. So just checking up and down that spine along the border. Looks really good. Wonderful. Another 9/8. Yeah. Again, this is what they look like. This is, I think, in better shape than the Iron Fist. It doesn't have any of the little subtle spine tick around the staples. It's very, very clean. Corner is just, I get what you'd expect. Just the smallest and slightest of spine splitting there. But again, that's normal. That's okay. And I say that and I show that because if you see a corner and you're wondering like, well, is that a defect or not? There is an allowable range for those sorts of things. And that while it is technically split on the corner, it's okay. That's we're talking about, sixteenths of inches, like just we're zoomed in here looking at this, but it's very, very tiny, very minor. And then some of the things you see on the spine, you're like, no, I see splitting up and down the spine. That's just the art from the back cover. So again, that's what a 9/8 looks like. And that's the grade that this will get. So far, not bad. A few 9/8s in there, 9.6s. I think only one got 9.4 so far. So we're almost done. We have 3 books to go. Okay, now these well, let me finish with the Marvel, and because the IDW ones are kind of in their own category, I would say. So let's look at the Daredevil, Woman Without Fear. All right. So first thing I notice right in there, that's some real spine splitting in the middle of the spine. Looks okay otherwise, and corners look all right. So that corner is probably just slightly blunted, but just minor. I don't know. Yeah, that's it's close. It's getting into the 9.6 territory already, but it still may be a 9.8. Looking at the corner from the back, it's not as blunted as I thought. It's just very, very slightly split and soft there. And some of this, I believe, I'll have. Oh, actually, I thought that was just dust or something on the book. Some of this has like an art finish to it, I believe, where it's not, and some of it is because it's white, it's coming through the inside cover. The only thing right here, I see something. I have to check this out. I don't know if that's part of the art or if it's stained. It's, of course, it's on the it's a light gray on the white, but right there, I don't have another copy of this to see if it's almost like the book got wet or smudged. Like there's a fingerprint or something there. Hard to tell. I don't know. So I hesitate on giving this a 9.8 just because of that discoloration right there. So I don't know if I should judge the book and give it a grade. I feel like I just want to go with a 9.6. But I mean, if that's a whole smudge, then you're talking a 9.2 or something. And I don't know if that is truly smudged or not. It just feels like it's not part of the book. So just to be on the safe side, again, why do I do this? Why do I put a 9.6 on something and it's to prevent me from blindly sending books into CGC. So when I decide which books I'm going to send in for grading, or books I set aside as like my highest raw copy, I don't open the 9/8 and regrade them. I look at this on the back and say it's a 9/6. I don't bother opening this up again to reevaluate it, which is, dangerous to take a handful of 9/8 and just put them in a pile and send them off to CGC. But that's what I do. I spend the time grading them now so that I can pull them right out of my collection and deal with them appropriately. So putting a 9/6 on that book is going to keep me from sending in Woman Without Fear 3 to CGC. Okay, this one is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 125 from IDW, and I wanted to save the two IDW books for last because their paper quality, I know it's hard to believe, but is, I think, even worse than Marvel's. Most of my IDW and Dynamite books are always damaged. This one looks okay, but even that, even getting books that are in high grade, high quality, the IDW books still are susceptible to damages. So spine tick right there, right in the middle of the book, that's going to be an eyesore. And then let's look at the back. The back at least has the Star Wars ad that is lighter. I don't see any problems with the back. Looks okay. Some whitening on this corner here. Tough. So 9/6 probably on this one. God, one color breaking spine tick, and it's not a tiny one either. Goes in pretty far on the book, maybe 1/8 of an inch, not quite a quarter. That was close. My other copy, I think, is a 9/2, so I was hoping to get one in a 9/8, but 9/6, not too bad. And it's unfortunate because because of the darker cover and having it right in the middle, your eyes are just drawn right to it. Okay, last book. This is the cover B of Ninja Turtles 125 by Eastman. Let's see how this did from IDW. Better, close to 9/8. It's got two very, very subtle hairline spine ticks. One right there, and then another one a little further down right there. So that one and that one. However, man, that's super close. And then the top corner is a little soft, just a little. Back cover looks fine. Same thing with that corner too. Just a little. It's just slightly off. This one's tough. I want to give a 9/8 to this one. It's so close. I feel like it. Well, I feel like it needs to be. It just needs to be. Those couple of, I mean, I'm trying to angle it in the light just to reflect the hairline spine ticks, but then now that I see them, I can see them. Once you see them, they can't be unseen. So close. Again, I feel like if this were hanging in a slab with a 9/8 and you saw the two spine ticks, it would just be annoying. And again, when I can't decide, and in my mind I'm like, I truly just can't decide, I just pick the lesser of the two grades. It's the only way to go. Unfortunately, there's no ability to press that out. Okay, so those were the books from Dark Dominion Comics. Those were the grades I assigned to the books. Let's look at the order details, see what I spent. We'll plug in the grades. Grades won't matter because they're not a lot of data. These books aren't necessarily slabbed by CGC yet, but we'll put in the grades anyway, take a look at what I paid, compare them to the values, and see how I did. All right, here's the order breakdown. This was an order placed with Dark Dominion Comics on March 9th, 2022. I paid $86.87 for these comics. It cost $11.16 to ship, and there was no tax. So I distributed the total cost of the order, or distributed the tax across each book, I should say, so that the total cost of the order when we're summing each book up matches the total amount I was charged. So I just kind of do that to make sure all of my math is correct. So let's start to take a look. I plugged in the My Grade. Those were the grades that I assigned to the books. And then what I want to do is compare the total cost of column Z against the cover price fair market value of the books at time of recording in column U. And then that gives me kind of this raw value in the column AA. So overall, it looks that I positively added an additional $33.75 to my collection based on this order, and kind of show you the winners and losers here. The two We Live incentives, again, incentives is something I keep thinking about. Like, it's so tempting to jump in with exclusives and incentives and all of this because it's what a lot of people push on us, from Marvel to speculators, influencers, you name it. Like, it's all about this perceived scarcity with incentives, or manufactured scarcity. I paid almost $16 each for those 1 in 15s of We Live, and the cover price fair market value of those are here just a touch under $10 each. So that's really kind of driving the overall value add down. A couple other books in the negative. The Ninja Turtles books, they're not holding up. They've dropped to, and I think it's because they're probably pretty easy to find. That Ninja Turtles series, as it is by IDW, I think some people love it. Some people are disappointed with it or off the book. I still grab it on occasion, and especially when Eastman's doing a cover. Anyway, those were down between $1 or $2. Here's what was up. So The Woman Without Fear, again, paid cover price. It's currently sitting at cover price fair market value of almost $12. Same thing for Darth Vader 20. Second print is $11.45. Iron Fist 1, $11.37. Hulk number 3 holding strong at $14.72. You'll notice here too, it just came out. It has a 9.8 GPA value of $129. Mind-blowing. I don't know how to get that book slabbed and sold fast enough, but there it is nonetheless. Probably not going to be able to turn it around before that 9.8 value drops. But and then the Electric Black number 1, that was a 9.8, the 10 copy incentive, total cost of $10.93. Has a fair market value of $18.93. No recently sold copies of that, but still, that was the value listed, and it has a GPA value of $67. So from a GPA perspective, if I was looking at the two books that had value and sent them in, the Electric Black and Hulk 3, then again, after taxes, fees, and shipping, I would be able to earn essentially my money back on the order, $115.70, just off those two books, and would have paid for the whole order. So that's kind of the breakdown. What I wanted to point out too, because this is a new store that I'm ordering from, is the overall numbers. So out of these 12 books, the average grade of the 12 books was 9.67, which is fantastic. That's great. Almost a 42% chance to get a 9.8. I believe that's 5 out of the 12 books were 9.8s. So again, that's a great ratio. It's a great rate. So what I want to do is kind of show you where Dark Dominion sits on my store ledger. So we'll take a look at this, and we can see here, again, without looking at the total number of books. So if I've ordered one book from one store or 1,000 books from a store, if I'm just ranking them all equally, Dark Dominion sits right here at 13th overall, with that almost 42% chance to get a 9.8 and the average grade of 9.67. Now, I rank these stores based off of the chance to get a 9.8 because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get as many books in as high a grade as possible. And so I look at these stores and say, which store is going to give me the best chance to get a 9.8? However, there's another view that you can look at this. So if we come in here and sort all of these by average grade instead, then if we're just looking at average grade, Dark Dominion is sitting there in 7th place. Now again, some of these, like Artist Directs, those were coming back slabs as a 9.8. So maybe you can skip those couple, the G. Young Lee and J. Scott Campbell. But Eastside Comics, I ordered 2 books. They both were 9.8. Like I said, Scout, tough to beat. But Dark Dominion ships in the same kind of that inner box that both Boxed Heroes and Scout Comics use. And it's super sturdy. It's awesome. So I love that they use that. Dynamic Forces is a bit of an anomaly because some of the those books come in a Mylite and you can't open them because they're sealed. So I kind of ballpark those as 9496, and they're all kind of like that. Royal Collectibles was another recent news store that I added, 9.6857, and there's Dark Dominion holding strong at almost 9.67 in terms of the average grade. So they're right up there. So what this tells me is that this is a store that I can trust to send me books in high grade. And I had a great experience. They're definitely somebody that I'm going to keep on my list in terms of finding books that maybe are quickly sold out and I want to grab extra copies. And then again, I need to think about whether or not I pre-order, because if you pre-order, you are gambling on yourself to know which books to pick. I share every week now the books that I am pre-ordering so you can see the books that I'm buying. But you never know. You're bound to not pick precisely all of the same books that the market is dictating are the books to have. And you have to sometimes go into the secondary market to grab some of those books. So I might keep Dark Dominion Comics bookmarked as a place where I can go and grab some of those books, on release day or after that I may have missed. And yeah, I'm very, very happy with the way that they shipped. I'm such a stickler on that. And I was very impressed with their packaging. And man, they ship those books fast too. So really, really pleased. You can check them out on darkdominioncomics.com. I appreciate you watching. Happy collecting. And see you next time.